And we have that from Mrs. Prasad Bisessa. I see we're taking over from Kingsley and Sudat. Thanks so much, brothers. They literally just stayed on the airwaves there. They had the former Commissioner of Police, Gary Griffith, on your line as well. So we could get to some things that the Prime Minister, Kamala Prasad Bisessa, said here. Let me get to the greetings real quick. Let me see if I can pull this up here. I don't have heavy today. No, God, I don't have heavy today. Heavy. Let me see here. This is the Prime Minister greetings just a short while ago earlier today. All right, take a listen. Have it right, boy? Hold on. I don't have it right. Just I ain't put on the audio. Let me put on the audio.
They begin Navratri celebrations, a very blessed time indeed. Eid, Navratri, all coincided, and of course, we are still in the holy months of Lent. So thank you all. Keep safe, keep your family safe, and all your loved ones. Thank you all very much.
Yeah, so that was the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago giving her greetings to the Muslim community, our Muslim brothers and sisters. Shravati, greetings from the Prime Minister, the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisessa extends warm greetings to the Hindu community on the sacred occasion of Navarti. I had to say that correct, all right? So as this auspicious period of prayers, fasting, and reflection begins, may the divine blessings of what is it? Majuga? How do I say this wrong? Oh God, people, I love all that. All right, begin renew hope, strength, and prosperity to every home to in our nation. So that's from the Prime Minister Kamala Prasad Bisessa today, and we actually coming off of the press conference from yesterday, post cabinet news conference yesterday, and Saddam Hussein spoke at that post cabinet news conference. And there's a new lease coming for the Muslim community. So we're gonna just take a quick listen to Saddam Hussein from that press conference yesterday.
Cabinet would have decided on the 26th of February for the granting of a lease measuring 3.216 hectares of land in Shogunas for the purposes of a Muslim cemetery, and this lease was granted to the Anjuman Sunatul Jama Association, which is known as ASHJA. This lease is for a period of 199 years. This particular matter, I have a copy of the lease in my hand, a registered copy of the lease that was handed over to the ASHJA this morning at the site. This particular lease, or this issue, stemmed several years. In fact, this matter has been outstanding when you look at the research and the various cabinet decisions since 2004. We are in 2026. Some 22 years this matter took for completion. And this morning at the ceremony, we were joined by the President General, Imam Hussein of the ASHJA, who in fact would have given his regards to our Honorable Prime Minister, the Cabinet, and the Ministry of Land and Legal Affairs for bringing this very long-standing issue to some conclusion. In 2019 or so, it was on the eve of an election that a former administration would have gone to that particular site, turned some sod and put up a sign, but yet these people did not have the legal title for the lands. Therefore, they could not proceed with the burial of anyone. Upon assuming office as the Minister of Land and Legal Affairs, this matter was brought to my attention, and immediately the ministry got to work, and we were able to bring this particular long-standing issue to closure. There are development works that will have to be conducted by the ASHJA, and the construction of their facilities, they can do so now because they have title. A cabinet minute does not give title. A deed of lease registered, transferring title, gives them that security. And that is what we did as a cabinet very early in our tenure and as Minister of Land and Legal Affairs.
So that there is Saddam Hussein, Trinidad and Tobago, and again under the UNC, everybody gets land. Caller, you're live.
Hello, are you hearing me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead. You're live on 91.1 FM.
Okay, good evening.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to talk about the PNM,
Go ahead.
but let me tell you something. You see, reading good afternoon to everybody.
Yes, sir.
You see, Mr. Welch, you see, reading, parents should make the children learn to read. I will tell you why. When I was 9 years old in 1956, right, I used to read a lot. And I was caught up in the euphoria at that time with the People's National Movement. 9 years old, right. There were two newspapers in Trinidad, daily newspapers, Guardian, the Jamet of St. Vincent Street, and the Chronicle. But you see the Chronicle was like the TNT Mirror and the Daily Mirror, right? But Eric Williams run them out of Trinidad by not forcing them to get their city papers that is used to make the newspapers, not getting it, right? Anyway, when I was 10 years, I was done with the PNM because the PNM had involved themselves in bubble and racket. Ulrickley, ask anybody my age about Ulrickley, O'Halloran, the Minister of Home Affairs, and a whole lot of other things, right? And that is what made me done with the PNM. I don't want to hear nothing about the PNM again. You understand?
Yes, sir.
I was so glad when I could vote against them. Thank you very much. Good night.
All right, thanks so much. 622-4911, 622-4911. So the government has moved to clarify the role of a Landmark TT Properties Limited following criticism from the former Housing Minister, Camille Robinson-Regis, who accused the administration of using the company to allow associates to access state land at peppercorn rates. Now, this is ironic. I'll tell you why this is ironic. And this is on the heels again of Eid Mubarak or Eid. So I don't know how many of you following the news lately, but Saddam Hussein would have taken to a press conference a couple weeks ago. This I think is just before Carnival. And at that press conference, Trinidad and Tobago, Saddam Hussein literally dropped some very much concerning issues at the CDA. So when Camille Robinson-Regis coming out to talk about peppercorn rate for land and leases under the UNC and saying HDC involved in some bubble basically, I want to draw your mind back to what Saddam Hussein literally revealed, not only about some friends and families of the People's National Movement, like a Sharon Clark Rowley. I want to ask, who is that? But I want to leave that to Saddam Hussein, and particularly from this press conference that he had yesterday. But let me just take you to this basically. Remember the story again, huh? Government moved to clarify the role of Landmark TT Properties Limited following criticism from former Housing Minister Camille Robinson-Regis, who accused the administration of using the company to allow associates and access state lands at peppercorn rates. Let me play this clip firstly from the press conference. No, we don't. There's not, right? We don't have that there. Let me play the clip from the CDA and a Sharon Clark Rowley being a beneficiary of some kickback
of what happened with employment at the CDA also. A document purporting to be a contract, which is in fact a contract, that was signed on the 3rd of July 2024, retained one called Karen Clark Rowley as the general manager for a period of 3 years with effect from the 3rd of July 2024 at the CDA. Now, Karen Clark Rowley, according to this document, is probably the beneficiary of a Victoria Keys HEC apartment. I'm seeing that on the document here. The remuneration package of Mrs. Clark Rowley is $44,000 per month, a traveling allowance of $5,000 per month, an entertainment allowance of $1,500 per month, a cell phone allowance of $500 per month. She's entitled to a bonus based on performance and gratuity of 20% at the end of service. And these are the terms of the contract. And in fact, Mrs. Rowley, based on a document here, dated the 7th of March 2025, indicated that she attained the retirement age of 60 on the 8th of November 2024, but due to her contract of employment, her new retirement date would be at a later date. So the reason why I raise this concern is we are looking at what happened at the CDA that I just outlined while Mrs. Clark Rowley was in charge of that particular authority. I'm told, it could be denied or admitted, but I'm told that she's the sister of Mrs. Sharon Clark Rowley, or the sister-in-law of the former Prime Minister, who has received this very good remuneration package.
But not only that, so this is in response to Camille Robinson Regis, who was speaking at a PNM public meeting on Tuesday, who said who said that now we are hearing about a new company called Landmark TT Properties Limited, a state land investment and development public-private partnership. And she said, quote, they say this is to bridge the gap between land availability and the increasing demand for unsubsidized high-quality housing. In other words, another scheme where their rich friends and financiers can get their hands on state lands at peppercorn rates. That is from Camille Robinson Regis, all right? So I just want to ask Camille Robinson Regis, the honorable member, who is Sharon Clark Rowley and how come she benefited from a salary of over $44,000 per month at the CDA? Now, this is not the only issue with the CDA. There's not the only issue. There's another issue with the CDA when it comes to land, and I want to ask who is benefiting from these and who was benefiting when PNM was in charge. This, again, is Saddam Hussein at the press conference giving us some very much startling revelations when it comes to the CDA.
At the CDA also. A document purporting to be a contract, which is in fact a contract, that was signed on the 3rd of July 2024, retained one called Karen Clark Rowley as the general manager for a period of 3 years with effect from the 3rd of July 2024 at the CDA. Now, Karen Clark Rowley, according to this document, is probably the beneficiary of a Victoria Keys HEC apartment. I'm seeing that on the document here. The remuneration package of Mrs. Clark Rowley is $44,000 per month, a traveling allowance of $5,000 per month, an entertainment allowance of $1,500 per month, a cell phone allowance of $500 per month. She's entitled to a bonus based on performance and gratuity of 20% at the end of service. And these are the terms of the contract. And in fact, Mrs. Rowley, based on a document here, dated the 7th of March 2025, indicated that she attained the retirement age of 60 on the 8th of November 2024, but due to her contract of employment, her new retirement date would be at a later date. So the reason why I raise this concern is we are looking at what happened at the CDA that I just outlined while Mrs. Clark Rowley was in charge of that particular authority. I'm told, it could be denied or admitted, but I'm told that she's the sister of Mrs. Sharon Clark Rowley, or the sister-in-law of the former Prime Minister, who has received this very good remuneration package. It's currently workers with their lands. You know what happened? The former PNM administration at that time appealed the matter. On what ground? Saying that Justice Dialsing was biased. Why? Because he writes some article in a newspaper. It took the UNC government in 2010 to withdraw that appeal. That is why today I could have stood proudly and give 250 ex-Caroni workers their land leases. And we could have done it in the other two other distributions. So those are the matters I wish to raise with respect to the ex-Caroni workers, seriously, and the private. Concerning is how they were disposing of lands and leases at the CDA.
All right, we having some issues pulling up the clip. Stay tuned, Trinidad and Tobago. We're going for a quick commercial break. Let me just get it sorted on the system, and then we'll be right back. All right, stay tuned to Talk City 91.1 FM.
Talk City 91.1. Thought-provoking conversations, bold perspectives, voices. Talk City 91.1. Thought-provoking conversations, bold perspectives, voices you trust. Talk City 91.1 is launching bigger, bolder, and more powerful than ever before.
Yes, Talk City 91.1 FM.
A brand new era of talk radio is here. With voices you know, trust, and respect. Get ready for an all-new lineup of the very best in talk. Andy Williams, Lennox Smith, Stephen Reese, Mr. X, Derek Charbodi, Roland Stewart, Sharon Farfan, Sudath Prasad, Heavy Duty, Alex Asing, Karen Francisco, Cherry Lean Lewis, Short Pants, and more of the voices shaping the national conversation. From hard-hitting current affairs to real community issues, culture, politics, social development, and the stories that matter most to you. This is where Trinidad and Tobago comes to talk.
It's all good right here on Talk City 91.1, where we're going to give you something new, something hot every day, Monday to Friday.
Listen on 91.1 FM and connect on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. New shows, new features, big giveaways. Talk City 91.1. Your city, your voice.
Hey, up for this exciting challenge? And confident about your business? If you are, the 10-20 feature is just for you. It's where you give your customers 10 reasons in 20 seconds why they should shop by you. This fun-filled feature will be captured, packaged, and aired on television and promoted on social media simultaneously. Small, medium, and large businesses call or WhatsApp 764-3378 or 313-4215. Let's feature your business 1020 with Junior K. It's affordable, effective, and fun.
Talk City 91.1. Thought-provoking conversations, bold perspectives, voices you trust. Talk City 91.1 is launching bigger, bolder, and more powerful than ever before.
Yes, Talk City 91.1 FM.
A brand new era of talk radio is here. With voices you know, trust, and respect. Get ready for an all-new lineup of the very best in talk. Andy Williams, Lennox Smith, Stephen Reese, Mr. X, Derek Charbodi, Roland Stewart, Sharon Farfan, Sudath Prasad, Heavy Duty, Alex Asing, Karen Francisco, Cherry Lean Lewis, Short Pants, and more of the voices shaping the national conversation. From hard-hitting current affairs to real community issues, culture, politics, social development, and the stories that matter most to you. This is where Trinidad and Tobago comes to talk.
It's all good right here on Talk City 91.1, where we're going to give you something new, something hot every day, Monday to Friday.
Listen on 91.1 FM and connect on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. New shows, new features, big giveaways. Talk City 91.1. Your city, your voice.
Hey, up for this exciting challenge? And confident about your business? If you are, the 1020 feature is just what you need. It's where you give your customers 10 reasons in 20 seconds why they should shop by you. This fun-filled feature will be captured, packaged, and aired on television and promoted on social media simultaneously. Small, medium, and large businesses call or WhatsApp 764-3378 or 313-4215. Let's feature your...
All right, welcome back on the Inside Trinidad and Tobago. We have the clip loaded up right now. So let me just take you back in time a little bit so you could understand where we're going with this conversation, all right? So Camille Robinson Regis at a PNM meeting last Tuesday said that we are hearing about a new company called Landmark TT Properties Limited, a state land investment and development public-private partnership. She said, quote, they said this is to bridge the gap between the land availability and the increase in demand for unsubsidized high-quality housing. In other words, another scheme. This is what she's saying, huh? Another scheme where their rich friends and financiers can get their hands on state land at peppercorn rates. Now, while Camille Robinson Regis saying this, I remember Saddam Hussein had in a press conference, particularly about the CDA. And, you heard about the Sharon Clark Rowley part, but let me take you to the land acquisition part and how much they were given land for their friends and families, particularly Anthony, somebody name, that I'll leave Saddam Hussein to mention in this clip here. Take a listen, and this is why we say you can't trust the People's National Movement, and they're literally fighting for relevancy right now, but take a listen.
Seriously concerning is how they were disposing of lands and leases at the CDA. Because the reports revealed to me here is that there was a particular property right after the general election, in fact, very, very close to the general election, a decision was made on the 7th of April 2025 for drafting of leases for review. And it said that the committee recommended the approval of the draft deed of lease for DDI Property Limited, as well as both a draft renewal deed of lease for another company. So I want to focus on DDI Limited. On checks from the company's registry, DDI Property belongs to 1. Michael Allen Andrew Kwamina, attorney at law. I think that was the personal attorney or friend of the former Prime Minister. And in fact, he was granted a lease for a parcel of land measuring approximately 22,000 square feet. And this property is located on Monos Island, also called Turtle Bay. And what is surprising to me is, and there were valuation reports and so on, but he is getting this rent for a term of 30 years at the price of $2,200 per month. A 22,000 square feet property at $2,200 per month down the islands. That is what we have discovered at the CDA.
So I want to ask Camille Robinson Regis a quick question here. What you really worried about? I think what they're really worried about is people in Trinidad and Tobago getting land. Because is land for everybody happening right now? Land for the landless. That is a program that the government of Trinidad and Tobago has initiated for young persons. allowing for young persons to get land in Trinidad and Tobago to develop themselves and to become owners of something. And Camille Robinson Regis and the PNM, they don't want that. They don't want people to have anything in Trinidad and Tobago, to grow wealth in Trinidad and Tobago. They don't want that. So I want to ask Camille Robinson Regis, don't focus on what the UNC doing alone. Don't try and focus on some properties or companies that gain contracts under UNC, because it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. I want to urge Camille, don't worry about TT Properties Limited. Don't worry about that. Worry about DDI Properties Limited and the friend of former Prime Minister or former Prime Minister, Michael Andrew Commoner, and the fact that he's getting 22,000 parcels of land for 30 years at a price of $2,200 per month. Worried about that? Y'all hear how much parcels of land? 22,000 square footage down at Turtle Bay. And this is what was going on under the People's National Movement. This is what was happening. So when people getting land in Trinidad and Tobago, when young people getting land, when the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago getting land, why they worried? Why they complaining? Is it because it's no longer the poor have to take them own selves out of poverty, but the government now is assisting to take the poor out of poverty? Because that's what happening. That's what happening. Camille Robinson Regis, she just came back from her very long sabbatical, so she probably now going through some level of deja vu or something happening with her, that she now seeing the country progressing. And again, when the country progressing, the PNM, they get very upset, They get very, very upset when Trinidad and Tobago is progressing. And part of that progression for Trinidad and Tobago as well, Trinidad and Tobago is with the University of the West Indies. UE is set to open. The government of Trinidad and Tobago is set to ensure that the University of the West Indies is open, and they're looking at September for the opening, not the reopening, the opening of the University of the West Indies. There's a lot of good things that came out from that press conference. This again is Saddam Hussein speaking about it. Take a listen.
This was a matter that was one of the first issues that the Honorable Prime Minister would have prosecuted upon assuming office for the second time. In the last People's Partnership Administration, we would have constructed the UE South Debe campus. For 10 years, that facility was left to rot. It was in a state of decay when we took the site visits and so on. So immediately, the cabinet would have engaged the PSAEL, the Palo Seco Agricultural Enterprises Limited Company, and designated it as the executing agency for the repairs and the rehabilitation of the Debe campus. PSEL would have engaged a consultant in August 2025 to prepare the scope of that project to bring the campus back to a state of readiness. In September 2025, PSEL received a facility condition assessment report which outlined the current conditions of the campus, and you will be very disturbed to know what that campus would have been left to after being one of the most modern buildings that we would have constructed before we left office in 2015. At all material times, and I say this without fear of contradiction, at all material times, the University of the West Indies was kept abreast of what the government was doing with respect to the repairs. In fact, the UE, through the principal, Professor Rosemary Bell Antwine, would have sent a letter dated the 26th of January 2026 to Mr. Kurt Myers, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Tertiary Education and Skills Training, where in no uncertain terms, the UE agreed that the government would, through the PSAEL, conduct the necessary works at the UE Debe campus. So you could imagine our shock and surprise yesterday that articles would have appeared or been published in the newspaper today which suggested that the UE will be undertaking some plumbing work, I believe for $4 million or so on. I can tell you those plumbing works are part of the scope of works that PSCL will have to conduct to bring the campus back to a state of readiness. So we were very surprised by that announcement by the UE yesterday that they will be conducting works. Therefore, we want to make it abundantly clear that it is only the government of Trinidad and Tobago, through the PSCL, that will be conducting all of the repairs and rehabilitation of the campus, so that we can have an intake of students for the upcoming academic year. And we want to make that abundantly clear. Secondly, the Cabinet has not taken any decision as yet as to what programs or what faculty will be placed in the building. Those matters are still a work in progress because we need to get the building. Our first priority is to get the building up to scratch. And thereafter, all of those other matters will in fact be announced and made public to all who are interested.
And this is what the PNM is afraid of in Trinidad and Tobago. The People's National Movement is literally afraid of progress for this nation. They are afraid that Kamla Persad-Bissessar and the UNC will actually take this nation into prosperity, giving literally each and every single citizen of Trinidad and Tobago the chance to develop, nurture, and become something even more of themselves. They are afraid that PNM constituencies will no longer just be PNM constituencies, and I wish I would say, because it's true when I say just black, dumb, poor, and stupid is what the PNM want to leave, or how they want to leave Trinidad and Tobago. But because Kamla Persad-Bissessar and the UNC is literally taking Trinidad and Tobago into a place of prosperity, they are afraid. So therefore, they will bring up any type of thing that they smell it could lead to any sort of corruption. And every time they talk about it, again, shut down, because there's no hint of corruption in it. When you talk about land and giving people land, land is being given to the landless. When you talk about schools in Trinidad and Tobago and education, the University of the West Indies is set to be open for the purpose it was originally built for by the Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar during her tenure, 2010 to 2015, that they left abandoned. The PNM could say nothing, The PNM could say absolutely nothing. They should not even be taken on at all. Because in the news as well from yesterday, and we spoke about this, the BP and Shell gear up for 2027 production surge in Trinidad and Tobago, with the Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar herself taken to social media to say, quote, "Good news, Trinidad. Strong signs of growth ahead for Trinidad and Tobago's energy sector, and in turn this also means for Trinidad and Tobago's economy." When it is Kamla Persad-Bissessar set out the budget and said this is what she's looking at for oil and gas in Trinidad and Tobago, and the PNM shut it down, clearly we could see now, Trinidad and Tobago, that the Prime Minister was right. The Prime Minister is correct. The Prime Minister, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, has a vision for Trinidad and Tobago that the PNM cannot see, or they always try to undermine. And we shall not allow them to undermine Trinidad and Tobago any longer. We cannot allow for that. This nation needs to progress. Me open the phone lines for you. 622-4911, 622-4911. That's the number to call, or 394 394-4911 as well is the WhatsApp number. All right, so you can call live at any point in time and you can give your opinion there, Trinidad and Tobago. But the university is very important. That is Kamla Persad-Bissessar's baby. She built it for a reason. Even the Couva Hospital. The Couva Hospital, it was originally made as a Couva the Couva Children's Hospital, and the PNM changed it to the Couva Motley Trading Facility, and they didn't open it. They couldn't open it. They didn't want to open it. They didn't want to give the people of Trinidad and Tobago hope for a brighter future, a medical future, to bring in foreign exchange. They didn't want to do that. They didn't want the university. How many schools were left in Trinidad and Tobago after 2015 that Kamla Persad-Bissessar put down? You have idiots that going across to the St. Joseph Secondary School talking about Kamla leave it, Kamla in opening it, Kamla in doing this, Kamla in doing that. But forget the 10 years that it was abandoned for. Let we not forget that. Let us not forget that it's the PNM that ran this country into the ground, each and every single day. Camille Robinson Regis talking about land today. I want to come and talk about land when they're the ones that almost shut down every single thing in Trinidad and Tobago. When you talk Petrotrin, PNM shut that down. Asemetal, PNM shut that down. Caroni, PNM shut that down. Everything. It was Clarence Rambarat that talked about he had to level every playing field in Trinidad just to plant rice in Trinidad and Tobago. They shut down everything. There is nothing that PNM literally gave to Trinidad and Tobago that bear any type of fruits. And you could debate more on that. Nothing. Every single thing the PNM touch is either they mismanage it, they engage in some level of corruption, they leave it abandoned, or they don't ever go back to it to ensure that it's upkept properly. They don't do anything. They did nothing for Trinidad and Tobago outside of fattening themselves and their pockets, which is why Rowley could go across to Tobago, wherever he's at, and talk. That's all he could do, talk, engage in propaganda, distract the people of Trinidad and Tobago from what's actually happening. What is happening in Trinidad is your country is literally getting better. Your country is on the verge of prosperity. All you need to do is give Kamala Persad-Bissessar time, you know. That is it. All Kamala Persad-Bissessar needs is the time to deliver all of her promises, all of the campaign promises for Trinidad and Tobago when it comes to energy, when it comes to education, when it comes to jobs, when it comes to security, because all of that is happening. All of it is happening. We are literally on the verge of prosperity, but one of the major concerns is crime. And we know it. We know the issue is crime. And Kamala Persad-Bissessar wants to address the issue of crime. But again, you have people on the opposition side and you have people that listening to the opposition, listening to the PNM talk and undermine Trinidad and Tobago. That's all they do. That's all they try to do, undermine the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago over and over and over and over again in every single thing that they do. There's nothing that they really support. Nothing at all. Home invasion bill was passed by Kamala Persad-Bissessar. That was a promise made and a promise kept. So you could defend yourself. But the People's National Movement, well, boy, oh boy, them don't care about this country at all, at all, at all. But let me open up the phone lines to you once more, 622-4911, 622-4911, or 394-4911 as well. All right? We also have another from, just running through the press conference from, the postcard from Saddam Hussein. We have one more clip from Saddam Hussein as we get ready for
the cabinet has agreed to provide grant funding to several Muslim or Islamic associations in the country. We have agreed that there will be 22 groups that will benefit from the Eid funding, and that amount, so it cost us $1.3 million that we'll be distributing in grant funding. I'm going to give you a comparison. In 2025, under the previous administration, only 12 groups benefited of $1 million. So with our cabinet, this new UNC cabinet, more groups are benefiting, and we have allocated more monies to these groups. There will be equitable and wider reach of this money, so that various Jamaats, various associations, various NGOs, various groups throughout the country will be able to host their Eid al-Fitr celebrations, so that all can enjoy, and in particular those who may be very needy. Because at this time of Eid, we are told that we must be very generous. And our cabinet has taken a very generous decision by granting these 22 organizations Eid funding.
Look at that. Funding for Eid by the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Funding. And they'll find a way to demonize that as well. Funding for Eid. And I don't know what the country does be upset about. Country upset about tickets. As it upset about fines and tickets. We ain't want to pay nothing. And I don't think much people have to even pay. I don't understand the issue with Trinidad and Tobago, you know, Trinidadians in general. I don't know what we want again. I really don't know what we want. It's either we want a better country or we don't want a better country. It's either we want progress or we don't want progress. It's either we want change or we don't want change. And for the people that say this is exchange of the same thing and we're going through the same thing over again, I try to understand where now you going through the same thing in Trinidad. How and even for Rowley, for the former Prime Minister to come and talk about some comparison between PNM and UNC, I don't see the comparison, you know. I cannot see how PNM could compare themselves to the UNC or people could compare UNC to PNM because it's not, and I agree when he said it's not the same political party because the PNM is the most corrupted political party in Trinidad and Tobago. The most, and we just played where Michael Andrew Kwamina could get land, 22,000 parcels of land or square feet of land for a total of $2,200 per month. There's a friend, Sharon Clark Rowley, getting over $44,000 per month at the CDA. And there's a friend and family. Imagine that. Those are the people that were benefiting. And there's so much more that were benefiting under the Keith Rowley-led administration. And we trying to compare. Kamala giving land to people who don't have land to the landless, and people, the PNM demonizing that. Kamala Prasad says to try to bring the ZOSO legislation, and it will come. The ZOSO, the Zone of Special Operations Bill, will be passed in the Parliament to deal with crime. It's a crime-fighting initiative. The PNM upset about that and against that. Kamala Prasad brought the Stand Your Ground legislations to the Parliament. The PNM didn't want to vote on it to allow for you to defend yourself in your own property. Kamala brought it, they said no to it. Every single thing that Kamala brings to the Parliament, they say no. Even the pension bill, the Prime Minister pension bill, the amendments to that. The first ever bill Kamala Prasad brought, because I was there in Parliament for it. The first ever one. The PNM, they had no vote on it. They didn't want to vote yes on it. I think they abstained from voting, or they said no, one out of the two things, but an abstention is still a no. Imagine that. To allow or to save money. So a prime minister who was just appointed for one day cannot make over $80,000 a month. That's what they vote against. Imagine that. For one day, a one-day sitting prime minister like Stuart Young was going to benefit from thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of your tax-paying dollars. Kamala Prasad came into office and said, no, we're not about to spend the money or spend the tax-paying dollars like that. We're not about to do it. And the People's National Movement, they didn't like it. They say she's reactive and she going after Stuart Young, and the bill is to target one particular entity, one particular person. That's what they say. How are we supposed to support that Trinidad and Tobago? Caller, you're live.
It's me again. Support at 10 and done at support at 9 and done at 10. Let me tell you something. The school in Beach, right, that the PNM lived there for 10 years saying it had gas and people. I never heard of when I was building that school that people died from gas escaping from the earth and all kind of things. 10 years, those children from Beach had to travel, get up early in the morning and travel in the evening. They had to travel from this place, from Beach to Beach and Prominent to Mount Helena North School, right? And then travel back again. You understand? And as soon as the People's Partnership came into existence, government, they opened that school and nobody had dead. Nobody had dead from gas. You understand? This week, I tell you, I don't want to talk about PLM, you know.
All right, go ahead.
These wicked people, boy. All right, I'm gone.
Yeah, appreciate it. 622-4911, 622-4911, or 394-4911 Trinidad and Tobago. That's the WhatsApp number as well. So, good afternoon to everyone on the live stream as well. A lot of you across there. You could WhatsApp call 394-4911. Again, 394-4911. Or you could call live directly at 622-4911, taking you to the top. But as I said, I know it's a holiday and stuff like that, and people probably don't want to hear about it. But the PNM by, I know what to say. And the corruption doesn't really stop there, because the minister, and we'll take a review of it, Vandana Mohit, she gave a revelation basically at the last press conference, Sunday press conference going there, about the Children's Authority, which we'll get to in just a short bit. But before we go there, the Member of Parliament for Miaro, Nicholas Morris, Minister Nicholas Morris, he would have come out, the media again asking questions, and ironically this is TTT, asking questions about what the Prime Minister would have called Kamala Persad-Bissessar, the Jamet statements now. And well, Nicola MP Morris was asked about it, Minister Morris was asked about it, and we'll get to his response. So this is the question posed at the postcard yesterday.
There was a word used by the former Prime Minister Tuesday to describe the current Prime Minister. I wouldn't use the word, but I know some MPs and ministers have condemned it. Do you also share those thoughts? And also want to get
sure.
Minister Morris' take on that too.
I am fasting, so I have to be very careful. I'll just go so far to say he's a very sick man.
Just my follow-up to Pryor's last question. We've seen the... Oh, sorry, Nicholas Morris, you were supposed to respond to that. Balance.
No, I think our colleagues in the parliamentarium have responded properly. All of our MPs are senators, and I think the country rejects the vulgar, failed politician that the former Prime Minister is. It is very condescending. It's embarrassing that a country with a rich history of democracy will have a former Prime Minister coming on the airwaves to degenerate women and to speak against women. I think what I'd like to add, the most embarrassing thing in this situation is the silence of the leader of the opposition. The leader of the opposition is a female, and for the sake of politics, she has stayed quiet and not defended a fellow female leader. The women of our global community and from Trinidad and Tobago have worked hard to become leaders in every field in Trinidad and Tobago. And today, while we defend the Prime Minister and stand the Prime Minister, today we call out the leader of the opposition for staying quiet in defending women's rights for the sake of politics. So that is our comment on that, and we reject Keith Rowley's failed political career and his failed political existence.
I want to thank MP Morris and Minister as well in the Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Nicholas Morris, for that, because where is Penelope Beckles? What is Penelope Beckles saying as the opposition? Because if it was an attack from the other side, if it was any member of the UNC attacking or saying such remarks to the now opposition leader Penelope Beckles, you would have heard the whole of the women's arm of the PNM coming out. The whole thing would have come out and they would have condemned. When it is Kamala made the Oreo statements and people say, oh, it's racist and it's that and it's the other, right? The whole PNM women's arm come out. Every arm of the PNM come out against Kamala Persad-Bissessar for that. But nothing from the PNM in terms of women's arm from the PNM condemning the comments by the former Prime Minister, Keith Christopher Rowley, and or distancing themselves from that man and those remarks, that Jamet statement. Nobody distanced themselves. Camille Robinson Regis have nothing to say. Penelope Beckles have nothing to say. Nobody have anything to say when it comes to those remarks by the former Prime Minister. But I want to thank Nicholas Morris for clearing the air and making it known that the government completely rejects it. Kamala Persad-Bissessar rejects it, and it's something that they don't want to spend time on. The man is a nasty man, again, who have nothing good to say about women. Nothing at all, nothing good to say about women, the women in Trinidad and Tobago, and imagine a leader like Kamala Persad-Bissessar. The Prime Minister, I see here, is giving some Eid remarks, so let me just go to that real quick. Let's just take a quick listen into that.
Just amongst equals, but we're all equal. With this office, you are the prime of that and an apex. And so I thank you for the hard work you do for yourselves, for your families, and for all of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you for your service. Each one here plays a vital role in the work of government. Much of it is done quietly but essential to serving people of our nation. Just as Ramadan teaches discipline, consistency, and care for others, those same qualities are reflected in the service that you do. The Quran reminds us that whoever saves one life, it's as if they have saved all of mankind. In public service, that is a powerful reminder that every action matters and that service carried out with integrity and compassion makes a real difference. As I close, I urge you to carry forward the spirit of Ramadan into your work with compassion, with integrity, and renewed purpose. Look at this office, look at what you do, and continue to help us lead by example in both service and in unity. May your sacrifices, may your prayers and charity be accepted and rewarded with abundant blessings. May Allah grant you and your families good health, peace, and lasting prosperity. And may the spirit of Eid fill your homes with joy and our nation with harmony. I thank you all, and I say Eid Mubarak to each and every one of you. Thank you.
All right, I want to thank the Prime Minister, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, there for her Eid Mubarak greetings to our Muslim brothers and sisters. Stay tuned, Trinidad and Tobago. We're going to head across to some of the news real quick from TTT, and then we'll be back on the inside. I'll be taking you all the way up once more until 8 p.m. Stay tuned.
Talk City 91.1. Thought-provoking conversations, bold perspectives, voices you trust. Talk City 91.1 is launching bigger, bolder, and more powerful than ever before.
Yes, Talk City 91.1 FM.
A brand new era of talk radio is here. With voices you know, trust, and respect. Get ready for an all-new lineup of the very best in talk. Andy Williams, Lennox Smith, Stephen Reese, Mr. X, Derek Charbodi, Roland Stewart, Sharon Farfan, Sudath Prasad, Heavy Duty, Alex Asing, Karen Francisco, Cherry Lean Lewis, Short Pants, and more of the voices shaping the national conversation. From hard-hitting current affairs to real community issues, culture, politics, social development, and the stories that matter most to you. This is where Trinidad and Tobago comes to talk.
It's all good right here on Talk City 91.1, where we're going to give you something new, something hot every day, Monday to Friday.
Listen on 91.1 FM and connect on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. New shows, new features, big giveaways. Talk City 91.1. Your city, your voice.
Hey, up for this exciting challenge? And confident about your business? If you are, the 1020 feature is just what you need. It's where you give your customers 10 reasons in 20 seconds why they should shop by you. This fun-filled feature will be captured, packaged, and aired on television and promoted on social media simultaneously. Small, medium, and large businesses call or WhatsApp 764-3378 or 313-4215. Let's feature your business. 1020 with Junior K. It's affordable, effective, and fun.
Talk City 91.1. Thought-provoking conversations, bold perspectives, voices you trust. Talk City 91.1 is launching bigger, bolder, and more powerful than ever before.
Yes, Talk City 91.1 FM.
A brand new era of talk radio is here. With voices you know, trust, and respect. Get ready for an all-new lineup of the very best in talk. Andy Williams, Lennox Smith, Stephen Reese, Mr. X, Derek Charbodi, Roland Stewart, Sharon Farfan, Sudath Prasad, Heavy Duty, Alex Asing, Karen Francisco, Jerry Lean Lewis, Short Pants, and more of the voices shaping the national conversation. From hard-hitting current affairs to real community issues, culture, politics, social development, and the stories that matter most to you. This is where Trinidad and Tobago comes to talk.
It's all good right here on Talk City 91.1, where we're going to give you something new, something hot every day, Monday to Friday.
Listen on 91.1 FM and connect on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. New shows, new features, big giveaways. Talk City 91.1, your city, your voice.
Hey, up for this exciting challenge? Confident about your business? If you are, the 1020 feature is just what we need. It's where you give your customers 10 reasons in 20 seconds why they should shop by you. This fun-filled feature will be captured, packaged, and aired on television and promoted on social media simultaneously. Small, medium, and large businesses call or WhatsApp 764-3378 or 313-4215. Let's feature your business. 1020 with Junior K. It's affordable, effective, and fun.
Talk City 91.1. Thought-provoking conversations, bold perspectives, voices you trust. Talk City 91.1 is launching bigger, bolder, and more powerful than ever before.
Yes, Talk City 91.1 FM.
A brand new era of talk radio is here. With voices you know, trust, and respect. Get ready for an all-new lineup of the very best in talk. Andy Williams, Lennox Smith, Stephen Reese, Mr. X, Derek Charbodi, Roland Stewart, Sharon Farfan, Sudath Prasad, Heavy Duty, Alex Asing, Karen Francisco, Jerry Lean Lewis, Short Pants, and more of the voices shaping the national conversation. From hard-hitting current affairs to real community issues, culture, politics, social development, and the stories that matter most to you. This is where Trinidad and Tobago comes to talk.
It's all good right here on Talk City 91.1, where we're going to give you something new, something hot every day, Monday to Friday.
Listen on 91.1 FM and connect on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. New shows, new features, big giveaways. Talk City 91.1, your city, your voice.
Hey, up for this exciting challenge? Confident about your business? If you are, the 1020 feature is just what we need. It's where you give your customers 10 reasons in 20 seconds why they should shop by you. This fun-filled feature will be captured, packaged, and aired on television and promoted on social media simultaneously. Small, medium, and large businesses call or WhatsApp 764-3378 or 313-4215. Let's feature your business. 1020 with Junior K. It's affordable, effective, and fun.
Talk City 91.1. Thought-provoking conversations, bold perspectives, voices you trust. Talk City 91.1 is launching bigger, bolder, and more powerful than ever before.
Yes, Talk City 91.1 FM.
A brand new era of talk radio is here. With voices you know, trust, and respect. Get ready for an all-new lineup of the very best in talk. Andy Williams, Lennox Smith, Stephen Reese, Mr. X, Derek Charbodi, Roland Stewart, Sharon Farfan, Sudath Prasad, Heavy Duty, Alex Asing, Karen Francisco, Jerry Lean Lewis, Short Pants, and more of the voices shaping the national conversation. From hard-hitting current affairs to real community issues, culture, politics, social development, and the stories that matter most to you. This is where Trinidad and Tobago comes to talk.
It's all good right here on Talk City 91.1, where we're going to give you something new, something hot every day, Monday to Friday.
Listen on 91.1 FM and connect on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. New shows, new features, big giveaways. Talk City 91.1. Your city, your voice.
Hey, up for this exciting challenge? And confident about your business? If you are, the 1020 feature is just for you. It's where you give your customers 10 reasons in 20 seconds why they should shop by you. This fun-filled feature will be captured, packaged, and aired on television and promoted on social media simultaneously. Small, medium, and large businesses call or WhatsApp 764-3378 or 313-4215. Let's feature your business. 1020 with Junior K. It's affordable, effective, and fun.
Talk City 91.1. Thought-provoking conversations, bold perspectives, voices you trust. Talk City 91.1 is launching bigger, bolder, and more powerful than ever before.
Yes, Talk City 91.1 FM.
A brand new era of talk radio is here. With voices you know, trust, and respect. Get ready for an all-new lineup of the very best in talk. Andy Williams, Lennox Smith, Stephen Reese, Mr. X, Derek Charbodi, Roland Stewart, Sharon Farfan, Sudath Prasad, Heavy Duty, Alex Asing, Karen Francisco, Jerry Lean Lewis, Short Pants, and more of the voices shaping the national conversation. From hard-hitting current affairs to real community issues, culture, politics, social development, and the stories that matter most to you. This is where Trinidad and Tobago comes to talk.
It's all good right here on Talk City 91.1, where we're going to give you something new, something hot every day, Monday to Friday.
Listen on 91.1 FM and connect on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. New shows, new features, big giveaways. Talk City 91.1. Your city, your voice.
Hey, up for this exciting challenge? And confident about your business? If you are, the 1020 feature is just for you. It's where you give your customers 10 reasons in 20 seconds why they should shop by you. This fun-filled feature will be captured, packaged, and aired on television and promoted on social media simultaneously. Small, medium, and large businesses call or WhatsApp 764-3378 or 313-4215. Let's feature your business. 1020 with Junior K. It's affordable, effective, and fun.
Talk City 91.1. Thought-provoking conversations, bold perspectives, voices you trust. Talk City 91.1 is launching bigger, bolder, and more powerful than ever before.
Yes, Talk City 91.1 FM.
A brand new era of talk radio is here. With voices you know, trust, and respect. Get ready for an all-new lineup of the very best in talk. Andy Williams, Lennox Smith, Stephen Reese, Mr. X, Derek Charbodi, Roland Stewart, Sharon Farfan, Sudath Prasad, Heavy Duty, Alex Asing, Karen Francisco, Jerry Lean Lewis, Short Pants, and more of the voices shaping the national conversation. From hard-hitting current affairs to real community issues, culture, politics, social development, and the stories that matter most to you. This is where Trinidad and Tobago comes to talk.
It's all good right here on Talk City 91.1, where we're going to give you something new, something hot every day, Monday to Friday.
Listen on 91.1 FM and connect on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. New shows, new features, big giveaways. Talk City 91.1. Your city, your voice.
Hey, up for this exciting challenge? And confident about your business? If you are, the 1020 feature is just for you. It's where you give your customers 10 reasons in 20 seconds why they should shop by you. This fun-filled feature will be captured, packaged, and aired on television and promoted on social media simultaneously. Small, medium, and large businesses call or WhatsApp 764-3378 or 313-4215. Let's feature your business. 1020 with Junior K. It's affordable, effective, and fun.
It's 15 minutes past the hour of 7 o'clock, Trinidad and Tobago. We are back on the Inside Talk City 91.1 FM. Yours truly, David Welch, taking you all the way up until 8 p.m. right now. You have me for another hour. Lord God, I'm balling heavy. Heavy! But anyway, so I saw a clip, ironically, on social media, Trinidad and Tobago. This one, I'm not too happy about this one, and I think this sparks the conversation as to whether or not parents should really be charged for, what goes on with their children at schools. Because, I saw a video with a mother, or a lady purported to look like a mother, jumping in a school fight, and literally beating up a girl. Listen to all that bacchanal. Right? And in that, a lady jumped in, pushing the girl and pushed her to the ground, and she sit down on top of her and all kind of nonsense this woman doing, instead of trying to part the fight. And I think this is what the Prime Minister, Kamala Prasad, means when she says that we got to start charging parents out here. Because and another guy jumped in, he looks like a teacher, and he part the fight, and a security guard part the fight. But this woman jumped in the fight, That I can understand, she jumped in the fight, and basically, she ain't felt no blows really, but you push your child to the ground and you jump on top, and you're allowed for somebody else, and the other child to pelt a blow. That I don't know, boy. How you are, and Evie might have a different perspective on this, but how you as a parent could allow that, by, or even if you're not a parent and that's your sister or something, right? You're a much older person, and that's the type of behavior you getting on with, really and truly, boy. And this is why I agree with the Prime Minister looking at charging parents for what goes on with their children at schools. Because putting police officers in schools, yes, it helped a little bit. God, she got a drum kick there. Lord God, look at that drum kick. But my goodness, I school fights, boy. They need to deal with these children like adults. That's what I'll say. Children should now be dealt with as adults, all right? Because I mean, you can't be going on so in school, man. You're going to school to learn, but you going to school to fight. Imagine that you're going to school to fight. That's what you went to school for. Some people went to school for other things. What you went to school for? For education? But no, man, I do support that. I really, really don't. But anyway, I keep talking about this and I'm not getting to it, right? So I'm going to get to it today. The Honorable Vandana Mohit, she came at a press conference Sunday, and she gave some startling remarks when it comes to the Children's Authority, and she called for the Children's Authority to resign. I'm not going to play the entirety of it, but I want you to hear, again, I know Heavy dealt with it, but I want you to hear how much was for an ice machine. How much they spend on an ice machine is $300,000. She said that they spent on an ice machine. 300,000, you know. 300,000. That is $7 a bag. How much ice you making for the entire year? $300,000 for an ice machine. This is the Honorable Vandana Mohit calling on the board to resign. This is her, and I ain't gonna play her entire thing, but just take a quick listen to this, Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you very much, Minister Morris. And good morning once again to Trinidad and Tobago and members of the media. Today I wish to address a matter of profound national concern involving the governance and stewardship of one of the most critical institutions entrusted with the protection of our nation's children. That is the Children's Authority of Trinidad and Tobago, typically known as CAT. And let me state clearly at the outset, the protection and the welfare of our children must remain sacred and non-negotiable. Institutions created to safeguard the most vulnerable amongst us must be governed with the highest standards of accountability, transparency, and fiduciary responsibility. And when those standards are compromised, decisive action must follow. And it is against this backdrop that today I call for the immediate resignation of the current board of the Children's Authority of Trinidad and Tobago. The circumstances that have unfolded under the stewardship of this board are deeply troubling and cannot be ignored. Firstly, I want to share with this country and members of the media that the Children's Authority now finds itself mired in a serious financial debacle, with liabilities dating as far back as 2020, reportedly reaching in the vicinity of $77 million and counting. Such an alarming financial position did not arise overnight. It is the product of prolonged mismanagement and a glaring failure of oversight at the level where responsibility properly resides, the board. Secondly, there are credible concerns regarding frivolous expenditure and inflated hiring practices, which have compounded the authority's financial distress. The inevitable consequence of these actions has been the authority's inability to meet its obligations to critical suppliers and service providers, placing operational continuity at risk. I want to share with you something, but let me get it here. When I speak about frivolous expenditure, I was looking at some of the authorities' expenditure, and we have children to take care of in this nation. And you heard my colleague say the children are of utmost importance to this government. I have some expenditure, just some expenditure from the Children's Authority. And as you would know, security services, janitorial services, they are of critical importance to the Children's Authority of Trinidad and Tobago to ensure its operations continue on a daily basis. Apart from that, you have other items which I would refer to in a bit. But I want to share with you that security services, owing in the sum of $19+ million. That's one firm. Another firm owing in the sum of $4 million. And these, as I said, are as far back as 2020 coming forward. But what I find very alarming is you have the employees to take care of. We are owing, and when I say we are owing, we are now in government, so we are owing. You have the gratuity payments, $8 million+, staff health insurance, and our staff work very hard. And I know many of our staff at the Children's Authority, they have been awaiting me to speak. They want to know what's happening with their health insurance and their gratuity payments. Well, today I share with members of the public staff health insurance being owed in the millions, 1.5+. This is just some of the outstanding expenses. We call it aging summary of the Children's Authority. But we are not taking care, well, previously under the last government, these are outstanding payments, as you would hear, the date which I mentioned from the last government coming forward. So we are owing security services, we are owing janitorial services, our staff health insurance, our staff gratuity payments. But the Children's Authority, despite the fact of owing all of these monies, would have purchased one ice maker, unnecessary expenditure, $343,000. This I find ridiculous when I saw it. Why is the Children's Authority purchasing an ice maker in the sum of $343,000? When we came into office, we were faced with issues where some of our centers had no food. My parliamentary secretary is here with me today because we are dealing with the Children's Authority, and she's specifically focused on that. And we had to, speak to suppliers through the PS and the authority to ensure that our children are fed at these centers, and we are here buying these unnecessary items when we have the children, the nation's children to take care of. But what I want to share with you thirdly, and perhaps most alarming, and I want you to listen carefully, are reports that the Children's Authority failed to remit statutory deductions to the National Insurance Board, which is NIS, and the Board of Inland Revenue, despite these monies being deducted from our employees. And I said to your employees who are waiting us to speak on this, well, I'm sure they will be listening today. This is most alarming to us. I want to share with you that statutory deductions, inland revenue, there are penalties for that when you deduct, but you don't pay it again. Millions. As at September 2025, 6 million plus for Board of Inland Revenue, BIR. National Insurance, 4 million plus and counting. I've asked up to Friday for us to get an updated list because we have been trying to work with the authority to try to pay these items because it's so much being owed. But I think what would have transpired, I don't want to preempt anything, but because it's the Children's Authority, some may have thought that, monies will continue to be allocated, but we must account to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And I will share with you that failure to remit statutory payments is not an administrative oversight, because the Children's Authority receive an allocation from the Ministry of Finance, and of course they receive releases. This raises serious legal and ethical implications and exposes the institution, and by extension the state, to potential litigation and reputational damage.
Well, that day, Trinidad and Tobago was the Minister of the People, the Honorable Vandana Mohit, with the startling revelations of how much monies, millions of dollars. The minister literally just said $77 million over the course of 2020 to now, owed to a security, well, in general, by the Children's Authority, but $19 million for one security firm, and then another $4 million for another security firm or entity, and a total of $77 million in debt by the Children's Authority. Imagine that, $77 million. I see here, and I read Trinidad and Tobago, the words by the chairman of the Children's Authority Board, Marsha Bailey. At the end of the article, Marsha Bailey is talking here about, quote, "It is regrettable that the minister's public utterances have the potential to damage the image of the Children's Authority or of the authority and the reputation of the professionals who serve on the board." The board further stated, said that despite the controversy and financial strain, it remains committed to fulfilling its mandate to protect and care for Trinidad and Tobago's citizens. But it further stated here that over the past 11 months, the board said that it had not benefited from the standard oversight of the line minister to help guide the authority's strategic direction for 2026 to 2029 or address mounting financial challenges. Right, that's what the board's saying here. And in regards to the step down, as you well know, no one on the board is stepping down. The chairman of the board, Marsha Bailey, said that there has been no move by members of the board to step down, despite Minister of the People, Social Development and Family Services, Vandana Mohit, doubling down on her call for their resignation. All right? If you run a company in such a debt, $77 million in debt, what you want in? It's really time to go. It's time to step down, step aside, and allow for fresh leadership. But $343 million for an ice maker, per what Minister Vandana Mohit is saying here. $8 million owing in gratuity payments. I feeling real sorry for them former workers. $8 million in gratuity payments, $343 million for an ice maker, and a total of 77 or just about $77 million. Sorry, 343,000 and $77 million total in debt, Trinidad and Tobago. That is crazy. But you think that this is a big issue, but it's not. It's not the biggest issue, because when you go across to the Ministry of Education and you understand why the EAP is no longer functioning for teachers, you ask yourself why. And when you ask yourself why, you find out that just about $200 million is owed to the EAP, or $100 million, just around there, right? Owed for the EAP. So while they were building Couva interchange and putting money into somebody's pocket, right? Allegedly, right? I hear allegedly Rohan Sinanan, it's alleged, right? Putting money there, they squandered. I'm going to say that. But while they're doing that, you have the Children's Authority in debt of 77 million, only stemming from 2020 again. You give them another term and then look what happened. And then another $200 million in EAP. And then you also find out Trinidad and Tobago that a particular friend of the PNM called, and I'm quoting from Saddam Hussein here, Michael Andrew Quamina, benefited from a 22,000 acres or square footage of land for a total of 30 years at a cost of $2,200 per month. And then you find out that Sharon Clark Rowley, again according to Minister Saddam Hussein, benefited from a salary of $44,000 per month. And that is at the CDA. The PNM had the corruption in every single thing in Trinidad and Tobago, you know. Every single thing, siphoning money out of Trinidad and Tobago, out of your pockets, into where? And then you had the former prime minister, the former prime minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, talking about how he built Balize House and where the money coming from to build Balize House, and you can't worried about, you're not supposed to worry about that, you're not supposed to know where the money come from to build Balize House. Listen, it's crazy, you know. It's crazy. And all of the revelations that coming out today, Trinidad and Tobago, let me remind you, it is Saddam Hussein and it is Barry Padarat that said that all of this would be investigated, or the government have court closed, you know, especially when it comes to URP. And when you take a look at what was going on between the periods of 2015 all the way up to 2025, and that is April of 2025 or May 1st of 2025, the amount of money that PNM really siphoned out of this country is crazy. It is crazy. There's a probe ongoing into the allegations made by CPEP. And we spoke about that at length as well. All right, the whole CPEP scandal, the CPEP corruption that taken place Trinidad and Tobago. Listen, these people are. Let me let you listen to it for yourself. This is now Khadija Amin, Minister of Local Government. Just take a listen to this, Trinidad and Tobago. Take a listen.
I know this morning we had a huge explosive headline in The Guardian. URP probe begins. The URP probe has caused an investigative journalist, his name is Joshua Simangal, to delve into the business of URP. I understand that they did acquire some documents through the Freedom of Information Act. This is not UNC information. This is information that is in URP, and any independent source, if they see those documents, they will realize that it is very clear that large sums of money would have gone to PNM general election candidates, other PNM officials, criminal elements, and a number of questionable payments. You also have where they have printed the names of companies who received over $15 million in payments. Again, former PNM candidates. And I want to tell you something. I am observing a trend where those wrongdoers who were appointed by the PNM in the URP continue to try to blame the UNC for their wrongdoing in the past 10 years. You should be apologizing to the public, apologizing to the taxpayers for your abuse of taxpayers' funds. And I want to tell you that our internal audits continue. The police investigation will very likely widen when they look at the documents that are available, and those who were involved in wrongdoing, they will face justice. But more than that, in addition to scrapping the corrupt URP program, the UNC has established the Unemployment Fund in the Ministry of Finance, and that fund has been accessed to do our public spaces, upkeep of public spaces program, our carnival cleaning, and that fund is being accessed to provide employment, meaningful employment to real people. So we are cutting the corruption, and by that we will make money available, and more persons will continue to be employed.
More persons will continue to be employed is what Khadija Amin said there. And you saw where yesterday the recruitment drive continues, But this is, the point is here, Trinidad and Tobago, how can you even support any other party or any other government, if you don't want to make it party issue, any other government outside of the present government today that is literally putting money in the hands of the people of Trinidad and Tobago and not into the pockets of financiers like the PNM was putting it in the pockets of the financiers. The People's National Movement have some real questions to answer. Real questions to answer. And part of it is for DDI Properties Limited. DDI Property Limited. The question is whether or not DDI Property Limited benefited or get property for a total of $2,200 per month under the CDA. And I see we have some calls coming in. Loading here, just loading. But 6224911 if you can't get through on WhatsApp, right? Let me go ahead and take it. All right? Let me see here. Caller, you're live.
David, assalamu alaikum to you.
Assalamu alaikum to you. Should I get that?
Eid Mubarak to all my brothers and sisters in Trinidad.
Yes, brother.
I wish everybody well.
Thanks so much.
So, you're welcome. You're welcome so much, brother. You're a good soul, brother.
I'm trying to be.
I listen to you all. I listen to you all the time.
I appreciate it. Really do appreciate that.
And Heavy is a good soul too.
Yes. He bad for leaving me here today, but he good. He's still good.
my brothers, I wish all you very well.
Thanks so
and
much.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much.
I listen to you. I listen to you guys all the time.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I would listen to you now, and once the program get going, I would make my contribution.
All right. I appreciate that, brother. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
No probs. All right. So you have some questions to answer, but let me, again, 6224911, 6224911 is the number to call. But the PNM, they're busy talking. They're busy saying everything but what the people really want to hear. What we want to hear is who is DDI's Property Limited? Who is that? Who owns that? Kareem Marcel have questions to answer as well, we ain't forget him, He have some serious questions to answer. But the question that we have now is who is DDI's Property Limited? And how is it that they were benefiting from a 22,000 parcel of land for a total, or square feet of land for a total of $2,200 per month? And then answer the issue when it comes to Sharon Clark Rowley as well. Call a good night, you're live.
Brother, let me tell you something, yeah? These men are the more than I could even expect. I didn't know it was so much, I thought this money was small thing or whatever the case may be. When I get to hear this shout and listen to these programs that are going on right now, it's an mess.
It is.
We know where we're going to start from. We have to be the smartest people in this country again to vote these people and back into power.
I agree.
Something definitely has to wrong with we. We're sipping the same juice that them sipping.
Agreed.
This country right down to the ground. We was the third richest country in the world.
Was. I agree with you.
We gone,
I agree. I hope we could come back. We could come back. Tell me we could come back.
Kamala, let me tell you something. I used to always say, if Kamala would give up and say, boy, I ain't gonna do this again with no government thing and whatever. I know where we would have been, but I don't know where we would have been. I used to sit down and pray. I just hope these people didn't come back in government.
Yes, brother.
When I hear these things and then people let me read out. I watching a conference the other day and I hear these kind of money these people them go on with, and I just had a laugh.
You think that money, if I read out real money for you right now, you go ball, you know?
Like,
you
that's
go
what
ball.
I say. And when they talk about when the millions of dollars was missing in the treasury, and they talk all kind of talk, and they say, no, it wasn't so, and this and that. Let me tell you something, You know, fella, they call me Taram. He fighted for them so bad. But I want him to say where all this money go. I want him to come and talk about what each and every dollar gone for all these things that happen. They're talking about so much, I think. They talk about so much other bacchanal. Talk about the things that are really going on in the country.
Agreed.
We might agree on him with some things he might be saying. But come to the real facts, where we are now. The reason why we're here now. The reason why we're here now is because it was Stephen all the time.
Agreed.
The reason why we're here now, they was pulling other people's pockets.
Yep.
We could have that. When he said lean up, when the former said lean up the government, when I was telling we leave up the government for to feed their friends and family,
of course,
this is the only government in the country that a friend was operating on state land. They're charged for operating on state land. You listening to me?
Yeah, I am.
When you come back and they operate on state line, you end up losing it. You come back and get a license for operating on the state line, come back and sue the government for operating on the state land. We mad. We gone.
Boy, I know. Appreciate you. But I'll read out some of the corruption for you off here. Listen off here. Let me tell you some of the corruption going on here. Because we think it ending there. We just play out DDI Properties Limited and a man by the name of Michael Andrew Kwamina benefited for a total of 30 years, 22,000 square feet for a total of $2,200 per month. We talk about the $77 million that the Children's Authority owing. We talk about Ministry of Education, $200 million about so for EAP. All right? We also talk about the CD and Sharon Clark Rowley, whoever that might be, benefited $44,000 per month. But that is not money. That is not money yet. That is not enough money. Because according to the Freedom of Information Act into the URP, the corrupt URP that was shut down at the same PNM. You should film this. All right? I'm waiting for it to get filmed. Just now. Because I will repeat it again because I wanted to stay on social media Trinidad and Tobago. I really wanted to stay. Alright? My lovely phone. You could pay it on mine. Because I want all to hear it on Trinidad and Tobago and I wanted to stay on social media forever. Alright? So I'll repeat it again for you. Alright? We spoke about on this show, 91.1 FM, DGI's Properties Limited and a Michael Andrew Kwamina benefiting again for a total of 30 years, 22,000 square feet of land for a total of $2,200 per month. All right, and that is under PNM. That is contract for PNM friends and families. A Sharon Clark Rowley benefiting from a salary of $44,000 per month. And according to information, his friends, families of the People's National Movement, close friends to the former Prime Minister Keith Christopher Rowley. The Children's Authority in debt of $77 million. EAP $200 million. These are things that we owe now. These are things that the country owing that had to be paid out. All right? And then we turn to the corrupt URP program. The program that the PNM, that the People's National Movement fighting for. They brought a bill inside of the parliament, or a private motion inside the parliament to talk about unemployment. All right? It's not unemployment, it's the ghost employment. Because Kamala Prasad Bisasa SCMP is supposed to continue the ghost. But the ghost is, according to a freedom of information into the alleged, not even the alleged, but into the corrupt URP program. On September 21, 2018, a company owned by a former Muslim gang, and it's ironic that it's on this day, all right, who is affiliated, or the affiliates is a car dealer and businessman, the dead now, Sharon Sukdio, received a URP contract worth $399,966. Imagine that. That is the level of corruption that was going on inside of the URP. Feroz Khan, chairman, spoke about it. And you also have payments going to some AM sales and services. 2018, 2019, $640,000. 2019, 2020, $619,000. 2021, 2022, 600, well actually, 4,003, sorry, wrong. 4,392,758. 2022 to 2023, $3,206,402, and it goes on and on and on. But when you ask yourself, who's the owner of AM Sales and Services? The company with the same name was incorporated right there in 2018, another in November of 2004, and however, the company, according to the report, was removed from the company's listing. Imagine that, removed. And all this money, URP payments to AM Sales and Services. And it continues, it goes on and on and on and on and on. This is the level of corruption in the People's National Movement country, the PNM country that is Trinidad and Tobago, that we so love today. We want back that, right? That's what we want back. We want back that level of corruption in Trinidad and Tobago. Caller, you're live.
Yes, sir. Happy Eid.
Yes, sir.
Danakok only come back in government, I think, was in 2001 or 2002. And within that little space that time Danakok was there, that the kind of mess Danakok do in the ministry. Where she was for the last 4 or 5 years in under teacher leave. You could only bring him back in 2002, 2003, 2004.
Yeah.
2005, April was election. And $77 million.
Yeah, I tell you.
Them sick, boy.
I know.
They're sick. And I joined in with this Subas Pandey. Let Kamala bring up Rowley. I supported him 100% with that. The Anand Logan taken and put that case in Anand's hands. And I'm going to deal with him. So have a blessed night.
Yes, sir. 622-4911, 622-4911. Caller, you're live.
Good evening, Brother David.
Good evening, sir.
And Eid Mubarak to the Muslim community.
Yes, Eid Mubarak.
And all the listeners, let's bring back the true love and brother love the true Trini had. But brother, you're checking the $100 million lawsuit with the Heritage and AB Drilling.
Oh, forget that one.
And how much? Yet still, we know the outer court settlement, you know.
True.
And even Nelson, how much he pay? How much millions he pay to corrupt justice?
Agreed.
I'll leave it there because we're close to the evening for us to call.
Yes, sir. Thanks so much. Agreed. The PNM is the most corrupt, but the most boisterous now. They are saints in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. It's Kamala Prasad Bisasa that taken this nation to hell. It's Kamala. It's not Keith Rowley. It's not the PNM. It was never the PNM. It's Kamala Prasad Bisasa. All of the money that was squandered under Kamala Prasad Bisasa, apparently. It is under Kamala Prasad Bisasa that Sharon Clark Rowley get $44,000. It's under Kamala Prasad Bisasa that Michael Andrew Kwamina get $2,200 for 30 years on 22,000 square feet of land. All right? That is under Kamala. Caller, you're live.
Yes, hello, good evening.
Yes, ma'am. Good day, you're live.
Yes, my dear, thanks for taking a call. What I would like you all to check out, there's land opposite on Charlotte Street, opposite the hospital, and there's some Chinese writing on it. I would like you all to check out to see if the Chinese own that piece of land.
All right.
That land extends straight across the Frederick Street, I think.
Okay.
That big piece of land there. Do you know it?
I'm trying to see where you're looking at. Frederick
Yeah,
Street?
at the corner of Charlotte.
Charlotte?
Well, where you turn opposite the park.
Mm-hmm.
If you're taking a maximum, it turn left and go around the savannah.
Yeah.
That big piece. Remember, it had some. I think they were there when the NAFTA was building.
Okay.
And the Chinese supposed to be back home, I think. But there's still the land they're occupying there, and they have a big Chinese logo on it. So I am puzzled if the Chinese own it.
Don't worry, we're going to take a look at it. We'll take a look.
Thank you very much.
Not a problem. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Okay.
All right, we're going to take a look at that. All right. 6224911, we're taking you up to the hour. You have any ads, boy? I'm well talking. They ain't gonna like me, you know. But listen, let me tell you all something, This is not just about bad talking, PNM. Trust me, it's not just about that. But it's about good things to come for Trinidad and Tobago as well. Because while PNM out there trying to spread the gospel of the PNM and misguide you and misrepresent the facts, the fact is that Trinidad and Tobago's energy sector and Trinidad and Tobago's economy is set to grow. And this is according again to Kamala Persad-Bissessar, who hailed good news for Trinidad and Tobago in 2027. And just in case you might have closed your fridge door the same time the news came out and you missed it, the Prime Minister took to her social media page yesterday to spread the good news to Trinidad and Tobago and to put you on a level of hope, because without hope, I mean, what are we without hope in Trinidad and Tobago? So I appreciate the Prime Minister for giving us this statement. She said, and I'll read it here once more, quote, "Good news, Trinidad." Once more, I'm quoting from the Honorable Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar as she took to her social media page yesterday. And she said, "Good news, Trinidad and Tobago, as strong signs of growth ahead for Trinidad and Tobago's energy sector. My government has been working diligently on strengthening energy security since entering office." And the Prime Minister's cabinet, well, her Minister of Energy Industries, Rudal Munilal, he went directly to Guyana for the Guyana Energy Summit to talk about the reopening of Petrotrin, all right, the refinery. Not only that, but Kamala Persad-Bissessar went to the United States and the PNM demonized her going to the United States, where she spoke to energy officials in the US about partnering up to reopen Trinidad and Tobago's refinery as well. And Dr. Rudal Munilal gave us an update on the whole energy talks at the last post-cabinet news conference. This would have been, I think, this was a month ago. So just take a quick listen to this.
A keynote of this week's activity was that oil and gas will continue to play a significant role in meeting the energy demands of the world in the next 25 years. The delegation also participated in several bilateral meetings and, of course, a very lively exhibition tour. We were engaged with a wide cross-section of international energy companies. Apart from our legacy partners of BP, Shell, we also took the opportunity to meet, so to speak, new friends and significant players in the energy, in the global energy business. We were pleased to meet a high-powered delegation from Reliance Industries Limited. Some of you may know Reliance operates the largest single-site complex refinery in the world in Gujarat, India, where they process on a daily basis, I believe, around 1.5 million barrels per day. We were happy to meet Reliance to discuss matters pertaining to the refinery in particular and other areas of interest. We were extremely pleased to meet another partner, a new friend in Indian Oil Corporation. That delegation to meet us was led by no less a person than the chairman of Indian Oil Corporation, Mr. A. Sani, and he led a very important team to meet us. Indian Oil, just to inform you in case some may not know, Indian Oil is India's largest state-owned integrated energy company with operations across the hydrocarbon value chain, including refining, marketing, pipelines, exploration and production, and petrochemicals. At that meeting, it was interesting just to place in perspective that Indian Oil operates 10 refineries in India. And we're extremely pleased that they have this capacity, this breadth, and we intend to work with them to ensure that we participate in a process that would lead to the reopening and restarting of the refinery at Point-à-Pierre. We discussed with that delegation the provision of technical expertise and strategic directions. They have a wealth of experience in refinery capacity at various refineries, as I said, across Asia. The delegation indicated that there is a readily available local workforce to support the resumption of refining operations. We were told that Indian Oil was also very much interested in the entire Caribbean region and would be happy to return to Trinidad and Tobago, having done some work here, I believe, in the late 1990s. We expect within a short period of a few weeks, certainly post-Carnival, we expect that we will be in a position to welcome a technical team from Indian Oil to look at the refinery and to give us some direction, some support. They were extremely pleased to return to Trinidad and Tobago since they had been here before, and they were extremely happy to know, which they indicated, the powerful local labor force that we have in refining and oil and gas.
And that there is the Minister of Energy and Energy Industries, Dr. Rudal Munilal. Unfortunately, Trinidad and Tobago, that is literally all the time we have for tonight. I will see you back here on Monday with heavy duty as we go under the radar once more. Remember to keep shooting for the stars in everything that you do. If you can see it, then you can 100% be it. And the moment you feel like giving up is the moment a new star is born. Have a great night, Trinidad and Tobago.